Hey everybody out there, welcome to a new episode of LonsTV. It's Monday, it's President's Day. I was actually thinking about not doing a show today, because, you know, President's is a sort of a holiday, and then I realized, like, almost everybody who watches the show works in tech or is on the internet, and the internet does not take President's Day off. It's just like any other Monday, so I figured, what the hell, I'll do one. I really do think, generally, it's a strange idea, and I know a lot of hacky, like, 80s stand-up comedians have been talking about this forever, but it is a weird idea to take two different presidents' birthdays and meld them into one day, and then not even call this like Washington Lincoln Day, but call it President's Day, that it honors like the notion of the American president. Because it's just not very American. Like, we're a country that believes, like, you know, and I think this is a good thing, that, like, the president is just a guy. Like, he works for us. He's, like, the chief executive of America, but we can, like, still sass him or, like, make fun of him, or her, hopefully one day. But, you know, we're the kind of country that, like, before the Super Bowl, as entertainment, we, like, have him sit down with, like, America's favorite Fox News blowhard to just yell at the president for, like, 20 minutes before the big football game. And, like, that seems normal to us, because that's how we view our president. We're not like, you know, all these countries where it's like, the president for 30 years and you can't say crap about him, or we like haul you off in the middle of the night. Like, it's not like that, and that's a great thing, but it does mean that this whole like holiday to celebrate the president, it's a little dash of North Korea mixed in with our American stew. It's just a little strange. I also think that it's strange that, you know, it's not, if we're gonna do it, it's not at all like a solemn holiday. Like Memorial Day and Veterans Day, there are these preset days off, but they're somber, they're serious, because it's about a real thing. It's about people who died and sacrificed for their country. And President's Day is also about a real thing. I mean, Lincoln was, you know, shot after he was president. You know, they really did sacrifice. Like Washington, like, we wouldn't have won the Revolutionary War without him. It's serious stuff, and yet those days are just like day drinking and car and betting sales. Like, that's what it's become. We have this day set aside, and then nobody really, there's not even, I don't even, did the president do anything for President's Day today? I don't even know. You never hear about that. It's just like a great discount at like the mattress store. Like, that's what President's Day has come to mean, I think, for me. And I spent my President's Day, I think, much like most Americans, which is eating rich food and day drinking, which is really what these kind of Mondays off, I think, should be all about, really. Come on. Because you don't get enough on Sunday. Sunday's just one day. I need another day for day drinking. But that's not the main thing I wanted to talk about today, obviously. I wanted to talk about the new season of Fringe. For anybody who is not caught up on Fringe, like, I'm going to try my best to not do a lot of Season 3 spoilers. So if you're like a week or two behind, I won't blow this week's episode for you, although I'm all caught up. But if you haven't watched any Fringe at all and you're thinking of maybe getting into it, don't watch this video. Turn it off if you didn't turn it off when I was doing the, like, Washington and Lincoln get their own day. You know, it's like you go into the office and it's 3 other guys' birthday. What's the deal with that? Like, when I was doing all that, like, 87, you know, evening at the Improv stuff, you probably turned it off. But if you haven't by then, definitely do turn it off now, because I will ruin Seasons 1 and 2 of Fringe for you. I'm just going to kind of assume, if you're watching it this far, you've at least reasonably caught up with the show and, like, know what's going on. Anyway, I think clearly one of my favorite shows on TV right now. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm not usually a huge sci-fi TV guy. I love sci-fi movies. There's very few sci-fi shows that I feel really strongly about, and usually most of the ones that I do end up really liking are more of the Lost variety, where it's like, it's a drama series with a sci-fi element. It's not like hard sci-fi. I'm usually not that into it. I know Battlestar Galactica, everyone says it's great. I never really watched it for this exact reason. I always mean to go back and watch it like the whole way through and check it out and see what all the fuss was about. I just have not gotten around to it. So Fringe is one of the rare sci-fi shows, and I know it's kind of also in that gray area of, like, it's drama and it's kind of funny and it has the sci-fi element, but one of the few real sci-fi series that has ever, like, grabbed me and I've watched the whole way through. Even X-Files, my brother always loved, and I kind of came in and out. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I think, you know, probably the big appeal for me is that it is a show about the paranormal and about science fiction, and it has that whole fantasy element to it, but really it's a humorous, dramatic series about a couple characters and their relationships, and they're all real likable, and that's really why I like the show. It's Olivia, and it's Peter and Walter Bishop, and Broyles, their boss, and it's really about those people and how their relationships change over time, and all these weird things that happen that change the nature of how they relate to each other. It's much more about that, and I think the show's done a really good job of keeping it about that, all the way through, despite all these crazy like plot shenanigans happening. I mean, it's a complicated show. It's got this dual universe thing going on, where there's these two universes at war. Everybody's got doubles in each universe, and it seems like it would be tempted to do like fall into that trap of becoming like real narrative driven and forgetting about the characters, but it hasn't. It's kept a lot of the humor, and it's kept a lot of the focus on the interrelations of the characters, which I think is good, and that's probably why it's doing such a good job of keeping my interest. It's also interesting. I got Danielle for Valentine's Day. I got her the Fringe seasons 1 and 2 box set, so she's been catching up on the show. I got her other stuff too. I got her more romantic stuff too. That was just part of it, okay? I hear everybody out there like, he got her TV, DVD box sets for Valentine's Day. But I did, but I also got some other stuff, so I'm doing okay. I think. Probably not. Well, when she does Danielle TV, she'll tell you what she really thought. Anyway, I think, so she was watching like the pilot, and I had totally forgotten that in those early episodes, like, Broyles hated Olivia, and Peter and Olivia didn't get along at all, and Walter was really crazy, and they've done a really good job of subtly updating everyone and bringing them, you know, along with you. And you don't notice, it's not like one episode randomly like, Walter's a lot better. It's like they've really done it gradually and built over the course of 3 seasons some real backstory up. And so I was admiring that this week. I think they've done a pretty good job of that. Probably one of the things that's keeping my interest. I will say a lot of shows... Excuse me. I will say that a lot of these shows, like, that have this, like, there's the incident of the week, there's the monster of the week, there's the freak of the week or whatever. That tends to get boring after a while, and then they adopt these, like, season-long arcs where something develops, you know, slowly, and every week you're really focused on the season-long plotline. Like X-Files, obviously, this happened with, where at first it was just random, strange going on of the week, and then it became like the black ooze and the bees and the aliens, and it became that over and over again. And Fringe is sort of doing that as well. It's this dual universe, and they're each building machines that could wipe out the other universe, and it's about that sort of the war going on between these two universes. That has come to really dominate the entire show, and I think that's a good and a bad thing. It's good in that that plot is interesting, and it lets them do a lot of really fun stuff, like whole episodes set in the other universe and playing around with it and having fun with it. But at the same time, I don't know, I sort of miss the old episodes where it would just be like self-contained plot lines and you could just watch one episode and not have to remember like who's that guy and how that all links up to everything, and just watching this whole big story kind of come together. I think maybe also that's this season, season 3, has felt like it's developing that plot a lot more slowly than seasons 1 and 2, which felt like there were big revelations about where it was all going every couple weeks, and we've pretty much known the nature of the two universes that are a war idea for at least a season now, since season 2. So maybe the plot's just not thickening quickly enough for me, but I'm finding that I'm starting to get fatigue of just watching the whole season story arc play out without any individual episodes that are just random, fun, crazy, you know, monster of the week kind of things. The last thing I'll talk about, the one thing I think Fringe is really doing that's different from other shows and that's really interesting to me is that at first it was our universe and we're at war with this other universe and they're the bad guys of the show. So they were like shapeshifters or soldiers and they were coming over here and they were killing people and they were the bad guys. And what this season they've done is they basically said, they're just like the people in our universe. Their universe is fighting for its own survival just like we are. And it's really set up these two pretty much almost equivalently sympathetic groups of people and just watching their conflict play out. And I was trying to think of another show that's done that where there's really no villains anymore. And they might have painted themselves into a corner. Maybe that's why they don't quite know how to get out of this, is that now the alternate universes, Olivia and Broyles, and those guys are pretty much as sympathetic as the ones from our universe that we're watching. And it's presenting a lot of like really kind of dramatic, strange conflicts where characters don't know how to act, because to do something that would protect our universe, you'd have to hurt this other universe full of, like, innocent people, what we think of as being just, like, you know, other human beings. So very intriguing, a little meta, a little postmodern, but in a good way. And I really was, if you have ideas for other shows that have done that, leave them in the comments below, because I was trying to think of one this morning and I really couldn't come up with it. So that is LonsTV for today. Happy President's Day, everybody. I will see everybody back here tomorrow. If you have not subscribed, please do so. It makes me feel awesome, and I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.